It is preview season here on Armchair Analysis, and today it's all about the Tennessee Volunteers. What can the Vols be? Can they repeat, make it back to the playoffs in 2025? All the drama in the offseason, how do they answer all the question marks surrounding this program this year? We're going to talk about it and how they can do that, how they can get there, and what their pathway truly is here in this 2025 season. I appreciate y'all tuning in. If you're new around here, leave a like, subscribe, certainly. We're 3 away from 150, and we're only 3 days away from the end of July. Help us get there. We can get to 150 by the end of July. We got college football content year-round on this channel. Now, not that you would know that, because the channel is relatively new. We've only just recently kind of rebranded. But jump on the hype train before we get going, and before it even takes off. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let's go ahead and talk Tennessee Volunteers. This team last year was 10-3, 6-2 in SEC play. They missed out on an SEC title opportunity, but they did make the playoff where they would go and eventually lose to Ohio State and Columbus, the eventual national champions. I'd say that's a pretty decent team to lose to. This is a team that averaged 35.7 points per game last year. That was 13th in college football. They were 16.1 points per game allowed. That was 7th. Plus 0.5 turnover differential. That was 29th in college football. They also brought in a top 15 recruiting class, coming in at 11th nationally and coming in at 68th overall in the transfer portal with only 7 commitments through the portal, one of which being their new quarterback. Josh Heupel returns, Joey Halsell returns, and then Tim Banks, of course, also returns as defensive coordinator. They are excited about what they're building in Knoxville, and I think they should be for rightful reasons. Josh Heupel's done a great job. Last year was one of the best defenses Tennessee's had in, I would venture to say, probably since 2000, if I'm being honest. But I don't want to, I understand that I'm not speaking a fact there. I'm just saying that that's kind of my impression. But it is certainly one of the best defenses they've had in a really long time out there at Neyland Stadium. They're excited about what they're building and what they can be. But they did lose a lot last year. They lose Nico Iamaleava after the, I don't even know really what you'd want to call it, just the rumors, the skipping out on Friday practice before spring practice, and then transferring out, going to UCLA, holding out over NIL money, kind of the first of its kind situation. But then they kind of make a 1-for-1 swap with UCLA. Iamaleava goes out there. They bring back Joey Aguilar, who's going to be the new quarterback for this team. And the question marks certainly remain, because Joey Aguilar is a good quarterback. He is a lot of fun to watch, but he is turnover prone. He's prone to mistakes, just plain and simple. And what he was able to get away with at App State is certainly not going to be able to be really gotten away with at Tennessee with the schedule they're playing. I mean, they have Georgia, Arkansas's got a pretty solid defense returning, Alabama, Kentucky, two good defensive teams. Oklahoma, we all know Brent Venables has a good defense at that out there in Norman. At Florida, that's going to be tough. And then even Vanderbilt's still going to be a solid team. They're not great, but they're decent. They also start the year with Syracuse. It is not out of the question for Tennessee to have a serious regression, because they also, on top of losing Nico Iamaleava, they lose Squirrel White, who's been a really big role player for this offense over the course of the last few years. Never been the biggest name. Well, the biggest name simply by, I think, name itself. But he's never been the guy that's made a lot of plays, or he's just been there in the biggest moments. And that's kind of what they're missing. They're also going to be missing a running game. Of course, they lose starting running back from last year. Deshaun Bishop comes back. Peyton Lewis comes back. Who of them takes over that starting role? I apologize because I, for whatever reason, blanked on Dylan Sampson's name, but Dylan Sampson leaving the program, going to the NFL, they now have to kind of figure out who the running back's going to be. Again, Deshaun Bishop, Peyton Lewis, both those guys had, I think, 300 and 400 yards respectively. Yeah, 339 for Lewis, 455 for Bishop. Those are the two guys that are kind of expected to be competing for this job. The wide receiver, you got Mike Matthews, Chris Brazell, Braylon Stanley, and then Boo Carter is a name that I've seen a lot of, and obviously he got a lot of action on the offensive side of the ball during the spring practice season. Kind of see where we end up when fall camp starts up, which is this week. We'll see where they end up and what he ends up doing and what his role is, but it is expected he's going to be on all three sides of the ball. He will play receiver considerably. He's going to be at corner. Expected to be nickel, I think, is kind of his position there. And then, of course, going to be on special teams as well. Kind of a jack of all trades, trying to kind of take on that Travis Hunter style role within this program. And they're going to need it because they're looking for a playmaker. They're excited for Mike Matthews. They're excited for Chris Brazell coming back. But they're looking for that other playmaker that they can find in this passing game. As for the offensive line, they got one starter back. They bring in 2 transfers. Thankfully for them, they bring back Lance Hurd, who's their starting left tackle last year. He's going to be expected to start again this year and see where that goes. I also forgot to mention, not that I should have, Miles Kitzelman at tight end as well. They're excited to see what he can do for that position group. This team graded last year on the offensive line. Pass blocking grade was 39th in the Power 4, 67.3. 59.4 run blocking grade, that was 47th in the Power 4. They're looking for improvement on the offensive line, and I think they're going to need it specifically when it comes to keeping Aguilar comfortable. Because if it gets to a point where Aguilar is trying to make too much happen, it's going to create problems. The biggest thing that this team has to face this year is the lack of a proven running back coming back and a quarterback who we don't really know what the Power 5 level looks like for him. But what we do know is, again, turnover prone, but can make the big play. Always looking for the big play. If they can kind of hone him in, take care of the football, and still hit those big plays, they're going to be just fine. But the answer is, I don't really know what the question is. And the other thing, you can't win a lot of games in the SEC without solid quarterback play. You really can't do it at the Power 4 level without solid quarterback play. And again, it just remains to be seen if Aguilar can do that. Moving over to the defensive side of the football, this team returns 7 starters on defense and pretty much the entire secondary. Between Jermon McCord, Ricky Gibson, Andre Turrentine. Boo Carter, of course, is back. He's going to play the star. Sorry, I said nickel, but the star position. And then Ed Reese-Farrong as well. They have 11 players projected to start that are from 2024's roster. That's a great sign. And that's part of just the fact that they didn't really bring back anything in the portal. 7 commitments whatsoever. They are building from within. And this defense was great last year. Again, we talked about their 7th points per game allowed ranking. Yards per play, they gave up 4.5 yards per play. That was 5th in college football. Just another really great stat from them. Arian Carter comes back. He had 68 tackles last year. Joshua Josephs had 9 tackles for loss. He leads the players returning from last season. He also leads the team in forced fumbles returning from last season. Had multiple players have 2 sacks last year, and Jermon McCoy had 4 interceptions. He leads the team in returning interceptions. This team forced 23 turnover opportunities last year, 12 interceptions, 11 forced fumbles. For those who don't know, turnover opportunities are interceptions and forced fumbles, not fumble recoveries. Otherwise, it would just be turnovers. The reason I do that is because it kind of shows a little bit more of how opportunistic the defense is, how many chances they create to take away the football and create the big play. When you look at this team, there's a few names to watch here, and specifically for me, it's the obvious. It's Joey Aguilar at quarterback, which I don't like to use the quarterback as that option, but it's pretty obvious why. Is he going to be a good Power 4 quarterback? Is he going to be a good SEC quarterback? Can he take care of the football? If any of those questions are no, let alone all 3, Tennessee is going to be in for a long year because they need this position to play well with, again, not a lot proven at running back. We don't know what we're going to get. I can assume the run game is going to be good because it's been good under the Josh Heupel tenure, but I can't guarantee it to be good. And if I can't guarantee something, then I have to kind of figure out what else can work. At cornerback, against Boo Carter, I'm excited to see really the reason I'm watching Boo Carter, not just because he's an exciting player, is because what is the splits? What are the splits, I should say, between defense, offense, and special teams? I really don't care that much about, but defense and offense. What are his splits and playing time? How much time is he playing on defense? Is he an every down player on defense and then just coming in to play, meaningful snaps on offense? Is he playing every down on offense and being a sub player on defense? I would say he's likely going to be every down on defense, coming in specific packages on offense. But it's hard to say. I mean, I'm sure we could see him play close to 100 snaps a game. I don't think that's going to happen, just given, again, this is a tough schedule, and they're going to need him on defense, especially in that back half of the schedule. We'll see. We'll see where they land on that. But those are two guys, Boo Carter, Joey Aguilar, that I'm looking forward to in 2025, seeing how they kind of progress and fill in to their roles. As for this schedule, as we pull it up, this is a team that's projected at over under 8.5. Odds to win the SEC is plus 3,200. Odds to win a national championship is plus 7,500. They are in the top half of all those categories. They're just not. I think that the question marks have held them back. If Nico Iamaleava's here, we might be talking differently. But again, who knows? Maybe that's just kind of where we stand, because other teams did improve. You know, you got that neutral site game in Atlanta against Syracuse. You have Georgia early in the season. Arkansas is going to be tough. Even that road trip to Starkville, even though I'm not taking Mississippi State to win that game, not spoiler alert, but I'm not taking Mississippi State to win that game, that could be a tough one. Alabama on the road, Kentucky on the road is tough. Oklahoma is going to be a tough one. Florida is going to be tough, especially on the road. And then even Vandy's not necessarily easy. Like, everybody is still really solid in the SEC. Oklahoma improved. Florida certainly is going to look better. Alabama is going to look better, or expected to look a little better. So let's go ahead and predict this thing. Full 12 games is going to start with Syracuse, where they are going to win that game down in Atlanta. And I think it's just simply a matter of the Tennessee defense being that good. They're going to get them a big win early in the season against Fran Brown's Syracuse squad. You get a win over East Tennessee State and move on to 2-0 when they face Georgia. This is going to be the first slip up here. They're going to lose to Georgia. It's just simply Georgia has a national championship capable team. Tennessee, hard to say, still too early in the season. I don't think the defense can overcome the offensive inefficiencies that are going to be faced early in the year. At that point, I'm taking Georgia. They'll get a win over UAB. They'll get a win over Mississippi State, as I've already said. Be 4-1 when they go and play Arkansas, who beat them last year. Granted, that game was on the road in Fayetteville. They're going to take this thing in Knoxville and see what they can do with it. And I think they're going to get the job done. Coming out of a bye week, it's going to be smooth sailing, I think. I don't know. Well, smooth sailing might not be the word, but it's going to be a lot better looking of a win because they are going to get the job done coming out of a bye. Be well prepared. Go on the road to Alabama. I think they're going to take their second loss here. And this is a game that just simply, to me, feels like it's kind of the lesser of two issues. And on top of that, home field advantage for Alabama is going to give me that extra push for Alabama. This game's going to go 50-50, and we'll kind of see where they're at on October 18th or the week leading up when we preview this game. Right now, my feel is Alabama. They'll follow that game up with a road trip to Lexington, Kentucky, Kroger Field, and, you know, a lot of me really likes Kentucky in this game. Now, history can prove one thing, and history being that Kentucky's only won a handful of times in the last 30-some years over this Tennessee squad. But on top of that, Kentucky does not have really a quarterback. Like, they are worse off at the quarterback position than Tennessee. With all those things being said, I think the defense is what's going to step up the most. This may be a 17-10 or 17-7 type of game, but I think Tennessee is going to get the job done and win that one. So that's a change from earlier in this preview season when I picked Kentucky to win this game. They'll get a game against Oklahoma in Neyland Stadium. I think they're going to take their third loss here. Just really like Oklahoma. I really like John Mateer, Jaden Ott. I think this is going to be one of the first times that this defense is just not enough to stop their opposing team. And Tennessee, Tennessee got the win, if I'm not mistaken, last year in Neyland, or in Norman, and they did by only 10 points. It was 25-15. Oklahoma's looking for a little bit of revenge. I think they will get the job done. making it 6-3 with 3 games remaining in the season, and make it 7-3. They'll get a win over New Mexico State. Facing Florida on the road, just going to be too much. DJ Lagway is going to be a little too much. Florida's going to go on, win that game, giving them an 8-4 record, because there's another change from earlier in preview season when I predicted Vanderbilt to beat Tennessee. This game being in Neyland Stadium, I think Joey Aguilar is going to be kind of at the best that we'll see him at this point in the year. Taking Vanderbilt to get the job done, taking Tennessee to get the job done over Vanderbilt, moving them to 8-4, 4-4 in conference play, which is a regression, but it's not quite as bad as I thought it might be, and it's not as bad as I'd originally predicted. Remember, I had Kentucky and Vanderbilt winning. It would have been 6-6, which I don't think is going to happen. I think that's a little bit, I think it's unlikely. It's not impossible, but it's unlikely. The floor for this team is 6-6. I think the ceiling for this team is probably 9-3. I really don't see 10 wins on this schedule. It could happen, but I just don't see it. So that's where I stand right now. If you're a Tennessee fan watching this, let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you guys are looking out for, who you guys are excited for on this team. Let me know what your record predictions are. As always, I love the discussion down in the comments. We've gotten a lot of it recently, good and bad, and I really don't mind. I don't care if you like what I have to say, dislike what I have to say. Let's just do it respectfully, build a respectful community here. That's all I really care about. I thank y'all for tuning in. Tomorrow, we got Miami. I'm excited for that one. Carson Beck and the Hurricanes looking to make the playoffs after going 10-3 last year. They're looking to get just a little bit better, get themselves into playoffs, and put themselves in a good position going forward. Again, we are 3 subscribers off of 150. I think we can hit 150 before the end of the month. We got 3 days. I think we can get 1 a day from here on out. I thank y'all for tuning in. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day. And we will see you guys tomorrow with the Miami Hurricanes.